Namaste. Myself Triveni Khurana, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Physiotherapy and Diagnostics. Today we are going to discuss about superficial heating. In contrast to deep heating modalities, superficial heating modalities usually do not heat deep tissues, including muscles, because the subcutaneous layer of fat beneath the skin surface acts as a thermal insulator which inhibits heat transfer. Additionally, increased cutaneous blood flow from superficial heating causes a cooling reaction as it removes the heat that is applied externally. In general, the transfer of heat, whether the purpose is heating or cooling, is classified into three types of heat transfer. These are conduction, convection, and conversion. What is conducting heating? Conducting heating defined as heat transfer from one point to another without noticeable movement in the conducting medium. Typically, direct contact takes place between the heat source and the target tissues. Superficial heat is usually conductive heat. Example, hot water bath, hot packs, electric heating pad, and warm compresses. What is convective heat? This form of heating is produced by movement of transferring heating medium, usually air or a fluid. Methods for providing convective superficial heat include fluidotherapy, whirlpool, moist air bath, and hot air bath. What is conversion heating? This involves the conversion of one energy from another, that is light or sound, into heat. Superficial heat is produced by heat lamps or radiant light breakers, with heat being transferred when the conveying medium, that is light energy, is converted to heat energy at skin surface. Superficial heat modalities categorized by primary heat transfer, that is conduction, example is hot pack, paraffin bath. Convections, example is fluidotherapy, hydrotherapy, moist air, and example of conversion is radiant heat. There are some factors which determine extent of physiological response to heat, and these are size of area being treated, rate of increase in the tissue temperature, and duration of the tissue temperature increase, and last is level of tissue temperature. It is usually 40 to 45 degrees Celsius. Now let's talk about the conductive heating. As said above, conducting heating is usually a simple modality that can be taught to the patient for independent home use. The disadvantage of this modality includes its potential burn, difficulty with its application to regions exhibiting abnormalities such as wood, and a skin drying effect, with the exception of paraffin and water media. Another complication that may occur is impaired local vascular supply due to weight of the modality on the lower limb or the weight of limb on the modality. This phenomenon also may be caused by an uneven distribution of pressure on the anatomical regions that the medium contacts. Hot packs or hydrocollateral packs contain silicate gel in a cotton bag. These packs are placed in a hot water tank which is thermostatically controlled at 71.1 to 79.4 degrees Celsius. The silicate gel absorbs a large quantity of water and has a high heat capacity. Hot packs are applied over layers of towel for 20 to 30 minutes. Most of the heat transfer from the hot pack to the patient is by conduction. Increasing the towel thickness reduces the heat flow and produces an intentional slowing in the temperature rise. Acceleration of heat transfer occurs if the hot pack leaks into the towel. The patient never should lie on the hot pack, as the body weight could squeeze hot water out of the pack into the towel and potentially cause a burn. The maximum skin temperature is obtained after 8 minutes, followed by a reduction in temperature due to increased blood flow. Repeated application of hot packs may prolong the period of temperature elevation but does not alter the temperature distribution. There are three types or three forms of hot packs available. First is Cani-packs. These are vigorous or short-term stimulation or heating modality. Next is rubber hot water bottle, and third is electric heating pads. Heat transfer is enhanced if the pad is moist or if the heated part is wrapped in moist material. Complications that can arise from using an electrical heating pad include shock. This hazard if the device is not insulated properly, and burns also if patient falls asleep lying on the pad. Heat output increases over time until equilibrium is achieved. Keep in mind that heat may be sufficiently analgesic to produce burns. Indications for the application of the hot pack may include painful muscle spasm, abdominal muscle cramping, menstrual cramps, and superficial thrombophlebitis. Hospitalized patients receive circulated warm fluid hot packs to minimize the potential for burns due to prolonged superficial heating application, a particular concern in sensory impaired or mentally challenged patients. Chemical packs are available in containers that, when properly manipulated, allow previously separated ingredients to mix, thereby producing an exothermic chemical reaction that causes heat production. A paraffin wax bath is another form of conductive heating. Paraffin baths are particularly useful for contractures due to rheumatoid arthritis, burns, and progressive systemic sclerosis, that is scleroderm. Paraffin usually is applied to hand, arm, and feet. Paraffin wax bath is melted and mixed with liquid paraffin. For therapeutic use, the paraffin wax bath is maintained at the melting point of 51.7 to 54.4 degrees Celsius in an insulated, thermostatically controlled container. There are some application methods including the dip method. The dip method, in which the hand or foot is placed in the liquid paraffin bath and withdrawn when the thin layer of warm solid paraffin forms, becomes adherent and covers the skin. The dipping procedure is repeated until a thick paraffin glove is formed. The heat can be retained by wrapping with towel for 20 minutes. Then the cool solid paraffin glove is peeled away and the paraffin is recycled. The dip method is a mild heat application because only a limited amount of heat is available for transfer to the skin. Next method for paraffin wax is immersion. In this, the body part is immersed alternatively in the paraffin bath for 20 to 30 minutes. The immersion method transfers heat not only from the solid paraffin block but also from the liquid paraffin bath itself. The heat transfer rate from the liquid paraffin bath to the skin is low, as the solid paraffin glove provides a poor thermal conductor. This modality represents a vigorous heat application, causing a significant increase in skin tissue temperature up to 46 degrees Celsius, with a marked temperature decrease in the subcutaneous tissue. Water at the same temperature applied by the same method would be intolerable because of the high specific heat and thermal conductivity. What is convecting heating? Fluidotherapy is a form of convecting heating that uses a bed of round, uniform, finely divided solids such as glass beds into which thermostatically controlled warm air is blown to generate a warm, semi-fluid mixture. Part of the patient's hand, foot, or limb can be immersed for superficial heating. This technique applies dry heat. The temperature is equivalent to hot air that is blown into the bed of bees. The usual temperature range is 45.6 to 47.8 degrees Celsius. Now, what is the use of fluidotherapy? It includes pain relief in arthritic condition of small joints, joint mobilization following trauma or mobility, and analgesia or sedation in young patients undergoing exercise programs with painful and contracted joints due to sickle cell anemia. Hydrotherapy can include total immersion in a large hot tub or Hubbard tank. Whirlpool baths can be used for partial immersion of the upper or lower extremities. Because hydrotherapy also may be used in treating infected draining wounds, the equipment must be sterilized between uses. The water is agitated and the size of tank determines the capacity, that is entire body or just the upper or lower extremity. For total body immersion in water, the temperature should not exceed 40.6 degrees Celsius. Partial immersion of limb should have a maximum temperature of 46.1 degrees Celsius, and the treatment time is limited to 20 to 30 minutes each session. As a precaution, during total immersion of a patient in water, temperature over 37.8 degrees Celsius, her oral temperature should be observed to prevent a rise of body core temperature. With total body immersion, the heat loss occurs primarily through the head and neck. Therefore, the heat regulatory mechanism is impaired significantly. Total body immersion has a relaxing effect and may predispose the patient to hypotension due to peripheral blood pooling, which is secondary to vasodilation of all four limbs. Another convection modality is moist air cabinet. Air saturated with water vapor at a controlled temperature is blown over the patient, causing superficial heating over a large area. The temperature distribution in this modality provides heating of the skin and superficial tissue. This modality is used most commonly for the back muscle spasm and polyarticular arthritic conditions. The recommended temperature maximum is 40.6 degrees Celsius. Contrast bars provide a method of therapeutic hyperemia for management of rheumatoid arthritis or sympathetically mediated pain. Example: rheumatoid arthritis of the distal joint, hands, feet, prolonged ankle swelling after an ankle sprain or strain in refractory joint effusions. A differential of approximately 25 degrees Celsius exists between the hot and cold water. The hot water is at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius to 43.3 degrees Celsius. The cold immersion temperature is maintained at 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. The greatest hyperemia response is produced by 10 minutes hot water immersion followed by cold water for 1 minute. I repeat, the greatest hyperemia response is produced by 10-minute hot water immersion followed by cold water for 1 minute. The cycle continues with hot water immersion for 4 minutes and cold water for 1 minute. This is 4:1 cycle, which is repeated for a total of 30 minutes at each physical therapy treatment or during each home-based self-treatment session. Other approaches to convective heating include water-based exercise and balenotherapy. Now last is conversion heating. Radiant heat therapy is a type of conversion heating. High energy photons penetrate the skin and tissue, and this energy is converted into heat. Because photons of longer wavelength process less energy, penetration is more superficial. Shorter wavelengths have a greater therapeutic benefit. The therapeutic radiant heat producing temperature rise in tissues ranges from the spectrum of far infrared to visible yellow. Longer wavelength of light from green to ultraviolet produces photochemical reactions that do not significantly raise tissue temperature. Most other commercially available radiant light sources produces infrared with some visible light. These lamps contain heating elements of carbonundum, that is silicon carbide, special quartz tubes or metal alloy. The high energy photons are produced by shorter wavelength radiant heat, resulting in a greater penetration of superficial tissue. And there are indications for conversion heat are both for conversion, convection and conduction, that is superficial heating. Indications are muscle spasm for underlying joint or skeletal conditions, rheumatoid joint in which direct heating of the joint is contraindicated, the treatment of superficial skin breakdown in the intergenous areas. A treatment time of 20 to 30 minutes is recommended, with the maximum effect occurring at 20 minutes. Now, what are the various contraindications related to superficial heat application? Neither paraffin wax bath nor fluidotherapy should be used in open wounds that are either clean or infected. Hydrotherapy is contraindicated in patients immediately following surgery because a healing wound should be kept dry. Special precautions should be used for therapy provided in a Hubbard tank to patients with either a tracheostomy or an ostomy. Radiant heat should not be used in patients who have photosensitivity, bleeding disorders, decreased sensations, and acute inflammation or hemorrhage. Because total immersion in a Hubbard tank elevates core body temperature, patients with the following conditions which generate temperature sensitivity should avoid this heating modality, such as multiple sclerosis, adrenal suppression or failure, systemic lupus erythematosus, and pregnancy. Thank you.